Panic, fear, guilt, and confusion. These are among the emotions that parents experience when they learn their child cannot be found. It is any parent's worst nightmare. Social media updates and news items about these youngsters send chills down every parent's spine. When children make absenting themselves a habit, it leaves one to wonder how to deal with such situation. Inspector Maureen John of the Special Victims Unit of the Royal Grenada Police Force says parents question, will it ever come to an end?
There are some cases where sometimes you tend to wonder whether or not this is not just going to continue to be the case until that child comes to terms with the fact that, maybe I need to stop doing this. Or where that child becomes an adult and start to take responsibility for their own actions. So there are some cases, yes, where you may start to wonder whether or not you're ever going to see the end of it, because it becomes like a pattern, it becomes a cycle.
She cites the need for increased collaborative efforts to empower children.
That's where the other agencies come in. While as law enforcement, we do what we can in terms of, there are certain children that over a period of time you grow to develop, this kind of rapport with, you're able to speak with them, you're able to try to empower them in a sense. But the real work of building them, giving them that psychosocial support, etc., comes from the other agencies that we work with.
Clinical psychologist Dr. Augustine Panchu says that there is a need to find out why, when a child is cited, it is not reported.
We can empower citizens to make an arrest. I want us to tread softly and gingerly and something like that. I'm not saying it cannot work in some instances, but you have to be very cautious to empower the general public to act on behalf of the state. That's legal thing that's coming into play here.
Michelle Alexander, who is an advocate against child sexual abuse, says that measures should be put in place to help parents be better able to relate to their children.
We need to put measures in place so in case there is a repeated offense, a repeated instance, we get to understand the trend and understand the pattern so that we'll be able to intervene. Because sending back a child that ran away into a home where nothing was done to improve the conditions, maybe to help the parents as to develop ways they could relate better with that child or foster a better relationship between the parent and the child.
To date, according to the Special Victims Unit, 7 children have been reported missing and have all been found and receiving the psychosocial and other help that is needed. A United Nations report has pointed out that if children are to count on us, we must first count them. A summary report poses a 3-pronged approach, including the need to establish data as the spine of system strengthening. It says further that beyond leaving no child behind, leave no country behind should also be a key part of the approach. The report notes global support to data monitoring and capacity resembles a messy patchwork. The need for shared norms, beginning with open data, is cited as a third strategy. Common approaches are needed to measure emerging threats facing children, capturing missing child populations such as those in institutions or migrating, and share data to enable vulnerable children to be more effectively identified while protecting their privacy. Nisha Peters, GBN News.